What is going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Bland back with another episode of the Shop Podcast. How is everybody doing today, man? We are live and in charge, man. Once again, another Saturday, bringing the fire to you guys every single Saturday. So thank you, everybody who showed up live. Once again, let us know in the chat if you guys can hear us. We want to make sure the sound is good. We want to make sure the audio is good. We want to make sure we don't have any problems going forward on the podcast. But once again, thank you guys for showing up, showing out every single goddamn week on the podcast, making it a very, very, very special show. And this week we have a special guest to go along with a special show. This guy is he has been on the show a couple times before. Always a good guy. One of the rocks in the community. I've known this guy for a while. Amazing gamer, amazing person. He's also part of a couple other podcasts, namely the TXR podcast. But everybody, go ahead and give a quick shout out to Invader. Let us know, Invader, what you got going on with you, man, and how you doing today.
Oh, hey, Blam. Thanks for having me on. Hey, Shop Podcast and everyone watching. Yeah, it is great being back here again. I love the crew here. You guys always have very insightful views, and I just love the general banter and chats that come out of the discussions. Not up to much, really. Of course, the usual TXR stuff. We always got something going, all kinds of interviews and topics. Centurion's here, so obviously he knows all about that. But
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
otherwise, just been playing a whole bunch of games right now. I got COD Modern Warfare like a week ago, and I've been
Okay.
playing through that. Hmm.
No, I said okay. That's it.
Yeah. But otherwise, yeah, just having a good time playing games.
Awesome. Well, once again, man, glad to have you on. Once again, guys, if you have not known, he's been on the show a couple times before. Always enjoy him being on the show. Go follow him on Twitter. Go follow TXR. Shout out to those guys, man. One of the OG podcasts. If you didn't know, TXR has been doing it for quite a while. A bunch of good guys over there too. So go check out what they're doing, man. And last but not least, my awesome panel. I'd say the best panel, the best gaming panel, bar none on YouTube, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and start with Mr. Stagger Lee, Staggerilla, whatever you want to call him. Just make sure you call him Stag. But what's going on with you, Stag? How you doing this week, man?
I'm doing all right this week. Just been working around the house, getting ready to do some stupid shit, adulting. But other than that, just I've been wrapping up some indie games I've been sitting on for a while, just banging out some end of the year gamer score because I'm one of those guys, and streaming Monday through Friday and waiting to be here,
All
hang out
right.
with you guys. So not much else going on.
Appreciate it, man. Once again, Mr. Consistent, man. Every single week, appreciate you being here, Stag. Next person, Centurion, man. Amazing member of the podcast as well, man. How you been? Where you been at? What's going on this week for you, brother?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited. We got Invader here. I'm not
Hell
used to
yeah.
seeing his actual his gamer pick most of the time when I'm on TXR. It's just the TXR logo. But no, this week I've finally got some content out.
Nice,
I
nice.
didn't say nothing last week because it wasn't set in stone yet, but I am now creating content for
Oh,
lordsofgaming.net.
nice. Congratulations,
Yeah,
man. That's
so
dope.
I'm definitely excited about
Shout out
that.
to the Lords in the Realm, too.
Right. And other than that, I have been secretly playing Days Gone.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that, man. Get your game on. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But once again, Centurion, appreciate you here every week, man. And last but not least, Mr. Smooth Barry Ross himself, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere, man. What's going on with you, man? How you been holding up, brother?
Not too bad. Glad to be here. Man, it's getting close to those holidays, so looking forward to all the stuff that's going to be under the tree. But been keeping a low profile for the most part. Just enjoying Game Pass and some of the stuff that they're adding.
Yeah, it's
Just
crazy.
looking forward to talking about these topics today. Glad to be here with you guys.
Well, let's get it, man. We are not going to wait no longer. Once again, as you file in, say hello in the chat, man. Not only am I asking these questions to the panel, but also to the chat. Let us know. We like to keep that chat active, man. So if you got anything you want to ask us, throw it down in the chat as well. Once again, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, man. We appreciate every single one of you guys watching live right now. Retweet that link as well. We want to try and pack this thing out, so just let everybody know what's going on right now. But we can go ahead and dive right the fuck in, man. So we always do the poll of the week. We're gonna start with that. If you're new here, poll of the week, I do it every single Monday. So follow me on Twitter. That's where you're gonna find it at. So and then we talk about it essentially on the podcast every Saturday. So let me go ahead and get that pulled up. I'd actually just closed out of it right before we started. So let me just get that pulled up real quick for you guys. Sorry about that. I have it right. All right, here it is. Okay, so the poll of the week this week essentially was Xbox is looking to have a new game every 3 to 4 months. How comfortable would you be with that release schedule? So we've talked about this on this show on and off probably for the last essentially since they bought those new studios, the newest studios. We've been talking about them stacking up on these studios, with that being part of the reason why, them being able to put out consistent content, not only just triple A's, maybe some double A's, more likely DLC in between the time as well. But once again, I'm going to pose this question to the panel as well as you guys in the chat right now. So let me know how you feel about this particular topic. So the actual options were love it, hate it, doesn't matter. Love it overwhelmingly won 82%. So a lot of people seem like they really, really like that idea of a consistent release schedule. Now, I did not say, let's be specific here, I did not say all of these releases were going to be AAA. And we were kind of talking about this pregame, but I want to get everybody's opinion here. We're going to start with our guest of the hour, Invader. What do you think about that? What would have been your choice and why, essentially?
Well, going back to the poll, yeah, I had voted on it, and I was one of the ones who was overwhelmingly for it. Yeah, I'd love it. The fact that I don't see why they couldn't do it. Just put out 4 games here and there. It seems reasonable considering they have all these studios now, and not just like 15 studios. Some of these studios have like other studios within them, right? Like they got multiple, like Rare, In Exile, Obsidian, if I recall correctly, and a couple of others, Playground Games. Like they're all working on multiple games, and as far as the timeline goes, I see no reason as to why they can't keep up to that. Whether these games are AAA or AA or however you want to call it, smaller scale titles, that's still to be seen, what they have cooking. But it would be nice to see like a mix of that. I want to see the content. That's what matters to me, and I'm really excited to see what they have in store because, these studios that they bought, they're very interesting. They have a lot of different ideas. You look at Double Fine, you look at In Exile, Playground, Ninja Theory. There's all kinds of variety there, and I'm just really excited to see what they have in store, whether it be from large-scale titles, Halo Infinite, to something on a much smaller scale.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great breakdown, essentially, because you're right. Now, once again, I did say that, there may be a variety, essentially. There's not necessarily all AAA titles. Now, I'm not necessarily setting that expectation for them, but, more content. A lot of us weren't, a ton of us still got to, I guess the only issue would be the backlog situation, but that's always an issue, no matter how often, or not often they release games. Backlogs are always something that's a problem, but I think that's great. In this day and age, and I talked about it pre-game, Invader, that, with these types of games that are being made, a lot of games, like the Destinies, like the Divisions, like those type of, open world games with all those different types of features, require consistent content to thrive. Destiny went through this huge, both Destiny 1 and 2 went through like a 6 to 8 month dry period where nothing was going on. And a lot of people went away and said, look, we're not fucking with this kind of game because there's no content. So content is king at the end of the day. Just to know, even though they may not be putting out a AAA every 3 months, to know that they can have the ability and the capacity to put out consistent content gets me excited, because there's going to be big games, little games that we're going to be able to, want DLC for, want different options for. So I think it's a great thing moving forward. I assume Sony, I don't know if Sony's going to do the same thing, but I assume Sony's gearing up for a huge launch as well. So we'll see what they have in the plans. But I think that's a great breakdown by you just to get the show started. So Stag, what do you think of that, man? What do you think every 3 to 4 months? You think, first of all, you think it's necessary, or you think that that's something that you would like even?
I voted yes, and I don't know who wouldn't want like 3 to 4 games jumping in Game Pass every month to give that subscription service even more value. It seems counterintuitive to not be like, hell yeah, give me that shit. I'm excited. I play a lot of games. It gives us more chance to play a wide variety of stuff. So yes, definitely, it would be great. It'd be great for the service model. It would be great for gamers. It's a win-win for everyone, right? We're already playing a lot of games, and one of the good things is, if they're going to be Microsoft Studio games, and they go into Game Pass day one, and they're not coming out yeah, sure, you got some more shit in your backlog, but at least it's there, and you don't have to worry about losing it unless you don't keep subbing to Game Pass. Which if you're smart, you don't have to pay very much for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No,
or
for sure.
anything at all. So I mean, yeah, definitely bring it. It
So
me, I love the indie titles, and I'm not worried about AAA's. I still play them, but I like a wide variety of gameplay and graphics and style of games. So
yeah.
I hope we get a good variety.
So yeah, I want to flip that question on its head because this is kind of an interesting topic. So had Game Pass either not existed or not been as big as it is currently, would this model make sense?
For I think, I mean, they kind of go hand in hand, but at the same token, like everybody said, Xbox doesn't have games for how long now? This
Oh
is basically an answer to that question. And then in addition, we have a subscription service where you can play those games all the time. I
yeah.
think so. Yeah, I think
Oh,
it could work without it, and it works even better with it.
okay. So it's pretty versatile. I was thinking the same thing. I'm thinking that it wouldn't, without it I guess maybe it wouldn't make as much. It wouldn't be as much as a no-brainer. I guess you could say without Game Pass, but with Game Pass, it makes complete sense. I mean, you got a service that,
Yeah,
yeah,
it adds value to the platform,
exactly, yeah,
the subscription service. I mean, sure, your services like Netflix and Hulu and stuff are great with, maybe old content. It'd be, hey, great, you can watch movies that are, been out recently or in the past or whatever, but having like new shows and new content really drives more people to want to use those kind of services.
yeah, absolutely. So I agree. I agree. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Fuzz. I know we talked about this a little bit pre-game. This is something that we've
Yeah.
talked about 2, 3, yeah, probably at least 2 years now on the Shop podcast. So, did you vote on the poll, and what would have been your
Yes.
option?
Oh, I voted. I love it. It's one of those things when we started hearing about them getting all those studios, and then the fact that they were talking about doing multiple teams within those studios, it just seemed like it made sense that every quarter that you could potentially have a game or maybe DLC. And sure, not everything's going to be AAA, but if you get, let's say, one AAA, one DLC to a previous year AAA, and then like two like AA type games, I'd be happy because that going into Game Pass itself, along with everything else that they're putting into that, as well as all the other, third party companies or devs out there that are making games regularly, we're going to have plenty to play or plenty of variety to choose from. So I'm I hope that that's their game plan overall because that would one keep me subscribed and two keep me occupied
Yeah.
for a good long time.
Yeah, and I think the key here is you hit the nail on the head. The multiple teams within studios because we've seen this, especially without the probably 2019 has been pretty prevalent. I mean, we've heard about Playground, the size of Playground, Rare, Ninja Theory, obviously, even Obsidian. Having multiple different studios. So I think that's the key. Even to what even to the poll was that you need to have these studios that are big enough to be able to work on multiple different games and have the talent to do so. So I know we got a little taste of that at XO as far as some of the little tidbits we've seen. I don't know if all of those games we've seen at XO are AAA games, but I think that some of those games are going to be part of that cycle that we're talking about here as far as the poll. There's going to be the games that fill the gaps. Maybe I think maybe that rare game. It's probably I assume that's going to be a AAA game, but we're already starting to see the fruits of what you're talking about. Fuzz is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
cool. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, that's all there is to it. I mean, for the most part. But yeah, I'm done.
All right, so Centurion, you up, brother? Did you vote on the poll? And if you did vote, what was your option, man?
I did vote on the poll, and
Okay.
I said I would love it because who would not want more games? Even if all the games aren't for you, it still gives definition to the Xbox ecosystem for other people to want to play those games or get into the ecosystem to enjoy those games. Um, I kind of liked your question. You think Game Pass would have made a difference?
Yeah, I mean, because
You
cause
know,
think about it, because Game Pass is literally the perfect platform. It's like the road. You know what I'm saying? The cards or the games. Game Pass is the road essentially. It's a perfect platform for this type of like strategy to work. Without Game Pass, would it be as prevalent? I mean, would it be as such a big thing? So I don't know. I think Game Pass kind of makes it make sense.
Oh no, definitely. You know, I think they would still do it if it wasn't for Game Pass because, like Stagger said earlier, this whole generation has been this massive understatement of Xbox has no games. I'm pretty sure if you close your eyes real tight and put your fingers in your ears, yes, Xbox has no games. But it's just that whole thing of, like this was up for a big discussion earlier this week on with someone on how putting games day and date in Game Pass somehow devalues the games or some crazy thing. And honestly, I don't think it does. It obviously kind of gets them out there for people to enjoy them, because if it wasn't for Game Pass, for starters, indie games would still be having a real difficult time getting people to spend that money to play some of these indie
Good
games.
point.
And so now with Game Pass, what's the risk? You're already invested in the service, so download the game if it looks like it appeals to you and try it out. If it's not your cup of tea, you can always delete it, or maybe you might enjoy it. You never know. But definitely the whole argument of putting games day and date in Game Pass, I'm pretty sure is a result of that whole narrative of Xbox having no games. I'm just excited that Xbox is definitely hitting this head on, because they know they had a drought period of where they had little to no games.
Hmm.
And now they're wanting to correct that by having a regular stream of games come in probably every couple of months, ranging anywhere from probably an indie game to a double A to a triple A. Hell, we even own a quadruple A studio, so we know when that's come. So when we know
Yeah.
the initiative pushes out a game, if they're still holding to the day and date thing, that's going to be a game that's going to be put in Game Pass. So I don't see how there's a downside to this at all. It adds value to a service you're already invested in.
Yeah. I mean, the only downside is if you don't have an Xbox. That's the only downside if you don't own an Xbox. So at the end of the day, I mean, I think it works for everybody. I don't really see a huge, complaint against it. So it's a great warm up topic, guys. Once again, poll of the week every single Monday. Follow me on Twitter to catch us. So we're gonna be moving on to the next topic, man. And this one actually, I wasn't sure whether or not we should even talk about this shit, because it was something that this very very odd. I think one of the more odd things that happened in recent like gaming news. Now, essentially, Phil Spencer came out. Actually, was on a stream
Oh.
for Extra Life. Yeah, I know. I hear it in the background. I know. But essentially, he came out and said, that Control is going to be on Game Pass, and then essentially, Remedy came out and said, hey, that's not going to be happening. It was a very, very odd situation. Now, I don't necessarily want to focus on Phil being wrong or right, essentially, because it may or may not happen. But I just want to talk about um, just like the oddity of that. Like, is that something that we? Matter of fact, I don't think that's ever happened before. And then the studio came behind that, like the head of Xbox, like, hey, that's not happening. Like, what the hell does that mean? But I want to get you guys just general opinion on just the oddity of the situation and the coincidence of everything that happened, and get you guys just general opinion on like what do you guys think about it? I mean, not that you care or not, but just general oddity, because it just to me, I don't think this has happened throughout the generation where the whole CEOs come out and said, "Hey, look, we're getting this game," and then the studio comes out and said, "Hey, that's actually not happening." So we're gonna start with you on this, Invader, once again, man. If you've been following the news, man, what you think of it? And then when you heard about Remedy saying, "Hey, that's not actually true," what's kind of your opinion on the general, the overall opinion of the topic?
Yeah, it's an interesting situation here. I remember when it first broke. Oh, Phil Spencer on a live stream says that Control's going to be coming to Game Pass eventually, and everybody was excited. Even I was. I was like, "Dang, that's really cool." And then, yeah, the tweet by Remedy saying that's not coming. Very, very interesting. The thing is, I can't imagine Phil misspeaking on this
No,
because
you're good, friend.
why would he make a statement like that, right? He's the face of the Xbox brand, and I can't imagine him just kind of lying about it. But at the same time, if Remedy's denying it, I don't know. Maybe they're talking about it. Just I don't know. Phil got a little too excited about it. I don't know. It's a very weird.
I have a theory on why they backtracked.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
Well,
very interesting.
okay. All right. So okay, let's see. Yeah, okay. So yeah. All
No, no,
right.
no.
So
Go ahead, Centurion. What's the theory?
yeah.
Well, okay. Well, we all know how aggressive PlayStation has been with marketing this year and this generation. And We know that when they do market a game, they aim to confuse people into thinking the game's exclusive. Look at Red Dead Redemption 2 and some other games. Other studios are not, if a game is going to be multi-plat and they're being marketed by Sony, they're not even allowed to admit that it's going to be multi-plat. They have to like hold to this ideal of, it's going to be only on PlayStation, even though they know it's going to be multi-plat. I'm pretty sure somewhere the marketing for Sony with Remedy is probably getting close to running out or whatever. And Phil Spencer saying that probably they had to kind of nip that in the butt real quick because maybe they're contractually obligated to make, because that would probably tick a lot of PlayStation fans off in knowing that they all, again, forked out another $60 for a game, day and date, and all this other stuff just for it to end up in Game Pass. And so they probably had to hit that head on. And, the funny part is I don't want to keep going on to it, but Remedy probably needs to put it in Game Pass because when you do the reading on it, that game was not as successful as Remedy was hoping.
That. Yeah, I heard. I saw an article today about that.
There's nothing wrong with it. I played the game. Yeah. I almost 100%ed it. It's definitely a really good game, unique. But I mean, like, I'm not going to say they're Kojima, but it's definitely on the scale of something like that where you have to be really heavily invested into what's going on to truly fully understand what's going on.
No, okay. Well, once again, I mean, I did hear that. I did read that and see that as well. Article saying that the game didn't necessarily, the numbers didn't really hit where Remedy wanted it to hit. So it could just be as simple as, like you said, I mean, Phil jumped the gun. Like you said, I mean, that just makes the most logical sense. He just jumped the gun on a situation that shouldn't have been announced. Shit, I mean, we've seen that happen throughout the generation. I don't know if it's ever been from like a head of like a CEO though, like of one of these major brands. We've seen studio heads do it. Members of certain studios and developers and things do that, but never actual CEO. So very, very interesting. To Phil essentially jumped the gun
interesting,
on that.
Blam.
Yeah. But he did compliment them though. He did say the game more people deserve to play this game. But I mean, it's just really odd. Really
it is very weird, if I may chime in, because this is a game that, again, Remedy has been associated with the Xbox brand for the past generation, obviously with Alan Wake, Quantum Break, and so on. And it was interesting that this game control was a multi-plat, obviously, and I saw a lot of Sony fans being interested in it, or so they said. And yeah, now the sales of it were lackluster, and it does make a lot of sense to put on Game Pass. Now, I'm not trying to make every game, it has to go to Game Pass as a fallback plan. But that being said, if they're saying that this game wasn't up to what they thought it was going to sell, it kind of makes sense to put it on the service so more people can get exposed to it.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Like you said, I mean, ultimately, if the numbers aren't hitting, Game Pass is the best place to put it. But like you said, it is weird because that is definitely going to alienate a large portion of PlayStation fans that paid, $60 for the game. Because they're like, wait a minute, we just paid this $60 for this game and they're getting it for free in Game Pass. Well, essentially for a small fraction of what they paid for it in Game Pass. So very, very, very interesting. So, Stag, I'm gonna throw this over to you, man. I know this is something that you kind of talked about on Twitter back and forth, throughout the week. But just want your general opinion on, what happened and just what your opinion was about the situation.
Probably just spoke too soon, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, it's probably it probably was going to happen. Now, who knows if it will? Like, I mean, if they already signed a contract, then great. But like, he probably just spoke too soon, which is weird. Like,
yeah.
You would think that guy of all guys would be like on top of all of that stuff all the time and would know exactly what's happening with all of his platforms since he's the guy.
Yeah.
So that just seems a little weird. That like, hey, no. Well, I asked mom and she said yes. Well, dad says no. You know what I mean? It's just one of those weird.
Yeah.
But who knows?
I think it's just who said
it. It wouldn't hurt the game. Honestly, like from what we've heard, the service actually sells games. Oddly enough, so granted it's at a discounted rate, but at this rate with games that come out, other than Nintendo games, how quickly does everything get discounted now?
Yeah.
And or thrown into Game Pass, or the other, what's that, PS
PS
now?
now. Yeah.
I don't, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where you wait a month and a half, 2 months, you can get the game almost half off 9 times out of 10 now. You don't even need to buy things on release. So putting it in Game Pass will at least get those people that buy digital only now or buy more digital to buy it at $44.95 instead, or 99 instead of full $60.
Yeah.
So I could see that working in their favor if they want to put it in there. Is it going to go there now because he misspoke or spoke
And
too
you know
soon?
the odd thing
Who
about this,
knows?
Stag? You remember that this relationship between Microsoft or Xbox and Remedy has been well documented. They have not been in a good place the last probably year and a half since Quantum Break, since the end of since that whole thing ended. They have not been in a great situation. I don't know if it's a mutual thing, but Remedy's come out and say, look, we want to be a multi-plat, we want to make multi-plat games, whatever the case may be. So that it's just odd that Phil of all people,
Could
would
it be a
essentially
thing
drop
of
the ball.
what could it be a thing of we wanted them to put the game in Game Pass, but you can see that they said they don't want to be in it. Could it be
He
one
could
of those
flip
things
it.
that add to your little
He could flip it.
their back and forth thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
he could
I don't
flip
know.
it.
Or
I
not
don't. Phil's
necessarily
not.
him, but
Yeah.
just they could go down the road. Like, we tried to work with Remedy,
Yeah.
get them to come back into the fold and get in their game into Game Pass or
Yeah.
whatever, and they chose to do the multi-plat, which is
Yeah.
he'll spin it as great for both, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, he could have
But
easily said it
if it
should.
goes that route,
He could have said it should be in multipass, and that would have been, what I'm saying, multipass, Game Pass. He could have said
multi-pass,
it should. Sorry,
multi-pass,
he should be
Is the fifth
multipass.
element
The damn fifth
multipass?
element.
multi-pass.
Yeah.
The fifth element.
Dallas,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Anyway, god damn it, that's gonna be a soundbite on Twitter for the next week. Anyway, no, but it
Hey,
should
to
be.
add on, can I
Go
add
ahead.
something on
Yeah,
what
go ahead. Go
Stagger
ahead.
said?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because he was talking earlier about games being discounted in Game Pass, and we all hear this whole thing of like Game Pass hurts developers because they don't get paid for it. So does that mean Black Friday and the holidays bankrupt game developers when we're getting all these Black Friday deals on games? Like, am I
Michael, spend money to bankrupt people?
right? It's like when I went and bought Modern Warfare for $38 instead of $60. Does that mean Activision is like laying someone off right now?
10 people, but
I'm gonna show you, developer, and I'm gonna buy your game at a discounted price. Ha!
That's why I just laugh at the whole thing. It's all like, man, if that was a physical disc right now and you were buying it on a sale, you wouldn't even think twice. But because it's in Game Pass, we got to have this big old moral debate.
But if I may interject, guys, who's to say that Remedy's relationship with Microsoft, I don't know, maybe it could start getting better. You never know, right? How many developers that have they acquired that originally had like some bad relationship with Microsoft previously? Like Obsidian did, Double Fine I think did as well.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure because Obsidian had a game canceled that was supposed to be exclusive
Fuzz.
to
I think
the
that's
Xbox
that's
One.
the one that Fuzz always talks about. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that Double Fine, they had a slew of like little exclusives for the Xbox 360 arcade, and there were some technicalities, and I'm not sure they had the best of experience with them a few years back. But hey, now they're in the fold. So as far as Remedy goes, okay, maybe in the beginning of the generation it wasn't so good, but hey, you never know. Maybe they could be warming up again. They're obviously talking.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Loads of cash definitely helps.
I think so. We gonna you here,
Phil Spencer's probably just going, "Hey guys, I heard your sales were kind of lackluster. How's this this deal with Sony working out for you? It's like, hey, how'd you like a check to put that game in Game Pass? And would you like to see the statistics on how games sell in Game Pass? You never know. You might actually hit that goal you were looking for on your game."
Oh, yeah, terrible. No, I think before we get to Fuzz, I do want to say something. I think that it really. I mean, at the end of the day, I think the reason why people are like all over this is just because who said it. Like because Phil, Phil's generally this never happens. Like this never happens. So like, and Phil's generally pretty good about that kind of stuff. So it's like, I mean, I always believe where there's smoke, there's fire, but like for him to say that, like, and just he was 100% confident when he said that. It wasn't like oh well, my bad. I mean, I kind of stumbled. He was like, the shit's in Game Pass, like shit.
What if
He's
this is Phil Spencer's way of testing the waters on things? Last week it was like nobody wants VR. Now he's testing the waters on this. It's just like,
Well,
oh
nobody
yeah,
really
I
does.
don't know, man.
dude. I
Yeah,
mean, like
the
Phil
VR
Spencer
thing
could
is.
be just a total crazy genius when it comes to
I don't
marketing.
know.
He could be
I
the
don't know.
Kojima of marketing.
I don't know, but let's get to Fuzz on this, Fuzz. I want to make
All
sure we
right.
get to you, man, before we move on.
Well, one quick theory, and I wondered this as well. Didn't Remedy have to pursue a third party to publish this? They didn't
Yeah.
Who
self-publish this,
published
right?
Control?
505 games.
505 did? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So when it comes to publishing, I'm wondering, does the publisher or the dev have more rights to sign a deal to get into Game Pass? Because the
That's a great
publisher
question.
is producing the game.
They're
Not making the game, but they're producing it and
wallet.
distributing the game.
They're the wallet
So if
too,
it's
usually.
so if it's distribution, they could be the ones that said, it's in Game Pass. So I'm wondering if Phil didn't bother talking to Remedy. He just talked to the ones that had the purse strings and produced the stuff, and was like, "Oh yeah,
That's
it's
a
in
good
Game
point.
Pass because we
Talk
need
to
to get
Big
our
Brother.
money back from the distribution on this game." So
That's it.
I wonder. I think that's one of those things why Phil was probably as confident as he was, because if
Remedy
that's the
doesn't know.
case, yeah, and
Remedy
probably Remedy doesn't know,
about it.
because stuff like that has happened to other developers as well, like where I forget what the example was now, but it was something relating to Sony where they were supposed to have a certain amount of DLC for a certain amount of time, and it wasn't Destiny or anything like that, but the developer wasn't aware that there was a deal by the actual publisher. So it was, I could see that being the case where we'll see
That's a good
Control
theory.
in Game Pass probably after the first of the year, because if Sony had marketing rights, I think that game is almost a year old or at least 6 months old now. So
Mhm.
yeah, they're that marketing deal is probably getting ready to expire, and the publisher's like, yeah, we need to recoup some of our funding. So, but that's my guess on it. I I look at it this way. I held off on Control because they did the whole lopsided,
Sony thing, the PS.
yeah, because it was one of those like where I usually buy like the deluxe or the ultimate edition, but the ultimate edition on the PlayStation came with like twice as much
DLC.
content as it did on the Xbox one. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to spend $60 for 3/4 or 2/3 of the game compared to if I put it on my PlayStation. And I if it's a multi-plat, I'm not playing it on my PlayStation. I'm going to play it on my X1X. If it's an exclusive game, then it's a different story. But come on, that had already soured the deal. That's why I kind of passed on it. And I figured in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, I'll just wait until it's in Game Pass. So it's going to be kind of funny if it does wind up in Game Pass. My gut is that it will. It's just that it'll be after the marketing deal has expired. But that's I always wonder, like, especially somebody like Phil, higher up that food chain type of deal.
Yeah.
When they make statements like that, that means that usually paperwork is already signed or in
That's
the
what
works
I'm
of being
saying.
signed.
Yeah.
And the dev is the one that makes the game, but if they're not self-publishing it, I don't think they have as much right as they think they do, and we'll see eventually. Because I'm going to say my gut's telling me we'll see it next year, early next year in Game Pass, and then we'll see who's eating crow from there.
We'll see. We will definitely find out. I just don't think that you say something like that, like that's not a thing. Like, especially him. Like, this is not some guy that works in the mailroom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, saying that shit. Like, it's not some guy. Like, it's not some leaked document. Like, he's on a line. So it's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting. So let's go ahead and keep things moving here. Once again, guys, as you file in, hit the like button, man. Share the link. Want to try and pack this thing out, man. It's been an amazing show so far. Let's go ahead and keep going, man. Keep this thing moving. So this is a very, very, very interesting topic. I saw this. I have an app that I use, and I was thinking about this, and I saw the topic, or just essentially something similar to what I ended up being a topic today. And I thought about it. I'm like, man, that's actually very, very interesting. So the actual topic is: are we gonna get a mid gen refresh next generation? Because I saw an article saying that Sony's essentially they possibly could be gearing up to do like a PS5 Pro because the technology is not going to be mature enough at that point. So they're still thinking that maybe we'll do a mid-gen refresh. This is not something that I've even heard talk about. We definitely got one this generation with the PS4 Pro, the Xbox One S. We got those mid-gen refreshes. Now, with the technology being where it's at now, it's something I definitely wanted to cover. So we're gonna start with you, Invader, again. Once again, this is something I haven't really seen anybody talk about. But do you even think that we're going to get a mid-gen refresh next generation? You know, with these new consoles supposedly being as powerful as they are.
I think it's entirely possible for it to happen, considering the popularity and success of it happening this generation. Um, yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't do some kind of like mid tiers during the generation if they could improve some things. I don't see why not. Then again, I say that, but then in comparison to this generation, where I guess at the beginning of it, the consoles weren't as powerful as what they thought, and then they had to retool them. They put out the Pros and the Xbox One X, so I can totally see a refresh. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo had a Switch
Switch
Pro
Pro,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Oh,
I would not be surprised, considering that, what we're seeing all these graphically intense games on like Doom and so on. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were to, upgrade their specs a little bit just to, keep the hardware a little more lively.
Yeah. Okay. So you think that that's something that's going to be consistent as technology grows? Because the way people have been looking at this next generation is that these consoles we're getting next year are going to be good. I mean, I would assume I haven't heard anybody talk about this, but I would assume people are thinking we're going to get these consoles next year. We're going to be good for the next 3 to 5 years. So
Well, if I may add to that, I would say that it depends on, like, obviously we still don't know a lot about the consoles because they're keeping a lot of things secret, but it depends on the comments. Like, you look at Phil Spencer's comments with VR, we have no idea. It doesn't sound like the Scarlet may, or like, he's kind of testing the waters with the whole VR comment thing, right? And maybe let's just put it out there. Maybe the Scarlet won't be compatible with VR, but hey, you know what? They could have a spin-off of that, a refresh with VR capabilities in it. You don't know.
yeah, that's true. Good point. Good point. But once again, the thing we got to understand is technology is always evolving. It's always evolving, always growing, always getting better. So that's one thing we always have to take into account. So Stag, I want to throw this over to you. I mean, you've played, you've played games on PC. Obviously you have multiple different consoles. So do you think that we're gonna get a mid-gen refresh next gen at all?
I mean, probably. Why not? I mean, technology advances, like you guys were saying, and I mean, they've always found a way to like condense and make things smaller as the technology gets better and slim down the design of the consoles that they have
Hmm.
and make them more powerful, it seems like. So, how much more powerful can they make it? I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
It's a really tough question to. I mean, like you're asking me to like look at the cards and predict the fucking future,
Miss
but
Cleo, all right? I know.
I mean, I didn't call
crystal
Miss
ball.
Cleo to get an answer for this one. I thought about it, but I couldn't find her number. Um, yeah, it,
So based on the last two generations, I think
yeah,
we can say that we're gonna get some type of iteration at
yeah,
some point.
definitely. There's going
Yeah,
to be like a we lost the battery pack kind of a thing, or
yeah,
they always find a way to make the system better with smaller parts, faster, more efficient. Things get cheaper, things get better, so they roll out a new model that they'll still charge you an arm and a leg for, but it's a way to make more money, get people to buy the platform. I'd rather see some like I hope the next gen does really good on Xbox because I would love to get more custom consoles. So it's
that
just where
yeah,
I'm at.
that'd be nice. That
I mean, not
definitely
like I need more shit to collect, but I
be
mean,
okay.
Yeah, I mean that would be cool. Like if they did do mid gens, like to get like not just your basic black or white, just to get a like get those mid gens with like game releases and have them custom. That'd be cool, and have them limited edition. Maybe like drive more interest to people to buy them than just trying to refresh the gen with existing sales. So that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that it's a very interesting question. Obviously, we're not walking around with crystal balls, but we do the best we can with the information we have. So it's a very, very interesting topic that I haven't really seen anybody talk about it because if you go based off the last two generations, Xbox 360, PS3, Xbox One, PS4, we've always gotten the mid-gen
Yeah, that's
refresh.
what
It
they
just
do.
seems to be
So
how technology works. They figure out better ways, more efficient ways to use technology. They figure out other things. New technology comes out, and they implement that, and they obviously put out a new box for us at some point. So I could say based on the trend, I'm fairly confident we may get some type of iteration of a PS4, a Switch, or an Xbox, in the next generation. I could comfortably feel like that's probably going to happen. So we're going to throw this over to you, Fuzz, before we get to
mhm.
Centurion. Do you think that this is pretty much, something that's going to happen? Or, what's your opinion on the overall topic?
I think that we'll probably see a mid-gen refresh, although I don't know. I mean, like Stag says, it's hard to kind of
Yeah,
predict
no
the
crystal
future type
ball,
of deal.
man. No
But
crystal ball.
but
So,
I think we're as consumers in general, we're just wanting more and more, improvements as far as from video games and computers in general, just more graphical detail, faster loading times, things like that. So what is ready at launch when the PS5 and the Xbox Two or Nextbox or whatever they call it comes out, I'm pretty sure within a year of that, the technology will have definitely improved a good bit, and the pricing will have come down on some of the higher tier stuff. So I would believe, considering how well the PS4 Pro and
the
the
one
Xbox
S.
One X did this generation, that it's likely. Now, how much of a jump it will be, no one knows. But I'm pretty confident we'll see something, even if it's just that it's in the smaller package. Like I used to like the fact that every time stuff would get slimmer or smaller. So even if it's just the same thing in a smaller package at a cheaper price, I'll be happy with that. But
Well,
I think we'll see some improvements
well,
graphically and processor wise as well.
it's funny because I was just talking about this generation, but we've even seen it way further back. I mean, look at the Genesis, the Sega. It went through like
Hmm.
two or three different versions. You know what I'm saying? It got smaller, got a little faster. Every single
Yeah.
little time. So we've been seeing this for an extremely long time. So as technology gets older, matures, they figure out how to optimize it better, be more efficient with the technology. They always put out these extra sets of consoles or in between versions essentially. So Centurion, I know you demand with the facts. You like to walk in Wikipedia, so I'm sure you may have some great insight on this. But have you thought about this question at all, or what's your opinion on it?
I've thought about it, and I have so many different directions on the thoughts because, like, for starters, outside of Sega, this generation is the first generation that Sony or Xbox was put in a position where they had to have a redesign because they
Xbox absolutely had to.
Xbox absolutely. Even PlayStation felt that they needed because everybody even said that the leap from Xbox 360 and the PS3 to what we have to what came out at the beginning of the generation wasn't a very large leap, especially when it came to Xbox One. But so PlayStation came out with the PS4 Pro, which obviously is a 4K machine in certain situations. Xbox One X came out where they kind of hit it out of the park and really wanted that power narrative. And that's when all these companies discovered that power is a really big selling point. And so, therefore, even Invader knows when we talk to David Preen, both these companies are aiming for a very large, powerful console. And they're going to be very, very similar to each other in power. And it's going to come down to more of how the machine uses the power. And obviously, as time goes by, they might be able to optimize it more and put it in a smaller package and make a few improvements here. But until there's a huge, large graphical leap, all of us, if all of a sudden we wake up and 8K is a thing on a regular basis that everybody can walk into the store and actually kind of afford an 8K television, until something like that, I don't see a huge generational refresh on the stuff we're going to get when it comes to getting more power or better resolution.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I think it might go the other way around because we're having all these talks of gaming's getting extremely expensive and all this other stuff. So some of these gen refreshes might also involve a scaled down console, kind of like the Sade, where they got rid of the disk drive. These companies are going to do things to actually get the cost of these consoles down, but still are going to be able to run the games that are out for that generation. But you never know. The premium experience might be on the premium console, and then you might have the value console that gives you the experience you're looking for, but at a value. In other words, you're not going to have everything that premium console can offer. That's where my thoughts on it are, is like they might be aiming to make the console more affordable over time.
Yeah.
And so they might do a few things to do that. The big thing is, though, when it comes to console refreshes, is it's all based on what their competitor makes them feel that they have to do to refresh that console.
So you're saying it's more reactionary
Pretty much, like when they released the PS4 and the Xbox One, everybody talked about how the
1080p,
power thing. It wasn't all.
900p, 720p.
Yeah, so PlayStation came out with the PS4 Pro, which had more power, better resolution, and then Xbox One went in and created the X, which obviously was a beast of a machine compared to everything else on the market at the time. And so therefore that was all reactionary. It was a reaction to what the market was saying. Now, as we're going forward, we're going to see PlayStation have this huge push for VR on their console. If by some chance it takes off and gets bigger numbers than what it's doing now, I understand there's a small base of people out there that want VR, but until those numbers hit a certain level, I don't think Microsoft is going to be really that invested. But if it all of a sudden takes off, I wouldn't be surprised if Xbox doesn't already have it built into the Project Scarlet, or they're just waiting for that next gen refresh where they're like, no, we'll concentrate on putting VR into the ecosystem around that time.
It's a good point. Lots of good points here. And this is something that, once again, I hadn't seen anybody talk about really. And it's interesting because if you look at just, the way things have been going and just technology in general, this is what we have gotten every single year for the last, I don't know, shit. This generation has been, 5, 6, 7 years long. The last one was about 9 to 10. So damn near 20 years, we've always gotten something in between, some type of reimagined version that's a little bit better than what we initially got. So
with the Xbox 360, it was the same hardware, but
like
they
the Elite,
obviously tweaked they tweaked the hard drive and gave it a few upgrades here and there, but it wasn't anything that was like
it
dramatic.
wasn't the X. It wasn't the X at all. It wasn't the leap from what the X did to the Xbox One for sure. No, I get it. Yeah.
Same with the PS3. When the PS3 first came out, it was the size of the OG Xbox One, and by the end of the generation, it's the size of a small Blu-ray player.
Yeah. Yeah. So it could, and that's a different thing too. Like that's a different aim. Like that's more of compatibility. We just figured out how to get the same console in a smaller form factor, rather than we figured out how to make it more powerful or make it more efficient. Like the Pro.
But that small form factor, they were able to get a smaller price.
That's true,
I'm not talking crap in what I'm about to say, but compared to the PS3 that came out at the beginning of that generation to the PS3 at the end of the generation, you could see the sacrifices that were made on that console to create a lower price point.
Yeah, absolutely. So, did we get everybody here? I want to make sure. Fuzz, I got to you, right? I want to make sure I got to you before Centurion. Okay, just wanted to make sure. So, last topic of the night, guys. It's been an amazing show thus far. Once again, chat, hit the like button if you have not already. Subscribe to the channel. Retweet the link, guys. Appreciate the support every single fucking Saturday. You guys are amazing. You guys do a great job at supporting the show. So, last topic of the night, man. We're gonna talk a little bit about the VGAs. I didn't want to dive too much in on the VGAs. I damn near wanted to talk about like the game of the year situation, but I didn't want to take it there. I'm gonna leave that for Twitter. I'm gonna keep that on Twitter. I'm not gonna bring that to YouTube for sure. So I just wanted to talk about you guys' overall feelings about the show. What have you heard? What are you excited about? Are you gonna watch it? Just general opinions of the VGAs. I don't want to dive too far into this because we'll go off on some long fucking tangent because I know I will. But either way, let's start with our guest of the hour once again. Invader, what do you think about? I mean, are you excited for it? What do you want to see? Just your general opinion of the VGA.
Well, I don't know if I'm excited, but I'm always curious to see because the Game Awards usually has like some interesting game announcements, whether I'm really into them or not. Like, there's usually some kind of surprises, which is always nice to tune in for. Um, who knows? Like, I'm kind of curious to see what will be there for Microsoft, for Xbox. I think there'll be some gameplay trailers showing off. Who knows? We might even see a new game. I'm kind of hopeful. Like,
Well,
I saw some rumors floating
they
around.
said 10 new games announced. No, we don't know the size of these games, what platform they're on, but they did say Jeff Keighley around 10 games. If you want to be, if I want to be, accurate here, around 10 new games. So take that for
Just
what it
before the
is.
show, Jeff
VR
Keighley is
logo
going
game.
to tweet out every single one of them.
Oh, stop it! We're not doing. We're not. Go ahead, Vader.
But I will say though, yeah, we'll probably get a few mid-side games, maybe one or two like bigger titles. I would say that's just my estimations. Who knows, right, guys? Because it's all up in the air. But I have seen some leaks, some talks about, for example, was it Resident Evil 3 remake making the rounds? Maybe we'll see it there.
Yeah.
Actually came out and said that
No, they said
it's not that game.
Yeah. I was going to say. I thought I saw they said it wasn't going to be.
He said 10 new games, and that's not one of them.
Oh, okay. So maybe look to PlayStation State of Play for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is it always does get me curious what's going to be at the Game Awards. As far as the actual awards go, like, I'll be honest, I'm not really too interested.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. Definitely with how all the categories are lining up to be. I'm kind of curious to see if Kojima will get like 9 out of 10 awards for Death Stranding.
I look, listen. You said it, Invader. I didn't say Kojima. You brought it up.
Hey, everyone's thinking it, right?
Yeah, we are thinking it, but I'm trying to avoid. This show will be another like 45 minutes longer if we get there, but we're not gonna.
Well, to stay on topic, though, if I had like out of the 10 games that are rumored to be there, I would love. I sort of talked about this with the TXR guys. I would love to see like a Banjo remake appear because of the whole. You know how Banjo was in Smash Brothers recently.
Yeah, he is.
I like the timing of it is very interesting, so I'd be curious to see if we saw like a Banjo remake or something like that. Just something small but enough to like get attention. So that's something that I would really like to see. I saw rumors popping up for, what was it? There's a rumor going around about Master Chief possibly making it to Smash Bros, which would be interesting.
Well, that's something that Fuzz, we've said that forever, haven't we?
Yeah.
On this show, I've always said if that's the one thing that they add, it's like if that would be like the ultimate fucking like Smash reveal.
I'm doubtful personally.
No, I am too. I'm extreme. He's the Mario of Xbox. Like, I don't know if you ever you don't put him anywhere else. So I don't know. That's tough.
Yeah. But I do think, we will see some nice surprises. I mean, it's all up in the air, but just, I expect some more low-key announcements, in my opinion. Nothing to, like... I've seen some stuff about, hey, maybe Splinter Cell will make an appearance, but we've been talking about Splinter Cell forever, right?
We have.
So... yeah, we might see some expansions. We might see some smaller new games. Some indie games are definitely a given. But it's all up in the air. But I'm definitely curious to see what does get announced, and I am excited for that. Yeah. Just the actual awards part, I don't know. It doesn't really do much for me.
Well, I know Twitter going to be a shit show after the awards. That's the one thing I am 100% sure of. Twitter is going to be a shit show.
Well, everybody's going to be talking about it regardless, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. So stay out of those Twitter streets if you ain't ready for that smoke. So, because it's going to be crazy after, I don't even know the day the date of the event this year. But either way, great topic. So let's go ahead and throw this over to. We're gonna go with Centurion next on this one. Your overall opinion of the show. I mean, you excited for it? You gonna watch it? If not, anything in particular, just about what may be coming.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm gonna be turning into the Kojima Awards. I mean the Game Awards.
Stop
Sorry,
it!
my bad.
Come on. We trying.
Definitely, I am going to be watching. I'm going to be watching it pretty much primarily to see what games are put out there. When I hear the term though, like 10 new games, is this 10? Well, guess what? A lot of new games were shown at this last Inside Xbox XO. And so those are technically new games. Are we just going to see them again? Are these new games that we haven't
You mean
seen
like
yet?
Everwild and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, just basically kind of something that like, oh, we knew that. Because it's like, people, it's like one of those things like where you're reading in between the lines and it's like, no, they said new games. That's it. They didn't say new IP. They didn't say stuff we haven't seen. They just said new games. So they could be showing us games that we already knew about and they're technically new because they haven't come out yet. So, it's kind of like twisting words. I hope it's not nothing like that. I do want to see some new games. There's even been comments made that I guess Microsoft was even holding a few games back from XO19 to show them at the Game Awards. So hopefully that does come out to be true. But when it comes to the Game Awards themselves, I'm going to be the one to say it. I really am tuning in to see if Jeff Keighley is going to literally, kill every amount of credibility he has. I don't care if the guy meant no harm appearing in the game he was in being friends with who. It just comes down to when you are the master and commander of an awards show and something like that goes down, regardless of how clean your hands are from the situation, you have created so much controversy around your awards show that nobody's ever going to take it seriously again. And it's pretty much going to start falling flat on its face. It's just going to be a roller coaster ride down.
I wouldn't say it's at that point just yet.
This is the start. I'm saying if it happens,
his connection, and we're not trying to go here, but we keep ending up in this direction. But either way, we understand his connection with Kojima and just the not so. What am I trying to say here? The not so. It's absolutely obvious that you guys have a great friendship because what's that? Like 8 nominations, 9 nominations, something crazy like that, like 7 nominations.
Yeah, it's like
something
9
ridiculous.
10,
it's ridiculous.
Like
but either way, we'll go ahead, Centurion.
I was just gonna say if Kojima clean sweeps the awards, it would completely leave a.
There's no way in hell he clean sweeps. But either way,
but I'm just saying, either way, depending on how it goes, it could leave a bad taste in the fans' mouths on the whole situation. And next year, when they're announcing games, it's just, all of a sudden, people aren't going to really take the video game awards seriously anymore. It's just going to be yet another, like when you say the words Metacritic around, everybody knows that Metacritic has a way of being manipulated and construed and doing things. It's not a reliable source of reviews, and that's just going to make it to where the VGAs are not a reliable source of basing how popular a game is.
But that's not the VGA's aim, though, right?
I really don't know. I really don't know.
It's the only award show that we have for video games. The only one that's on live.
Here's the thing that I look at it. They put 90% of the voting in the gaming media. The gaming media has a lot of these games and all this stuff handed to them. It's the fans of gaming that are forking out the money, putting in the real time, because most of these gaming media guys don't even put in and beat some of these games. They play the game long enough just to write their review. What I'm getting at is we're the real fans. So therefore, when you're trying to put it out there that this game is game of the year, it should be based on the popularity of that game from the people who are throwing their hard-earned money to support that game, not based on some media guy who is wined and dined by an individual.
Okay. Say it then, Centurion. I feel you on that, man.
Tell us how you really feel.
Exactly.
That's why, if you really read it, that's why when they come out, they're like, oh, well, the public only has 10% of the actual voting. at this point, you might as well not even give us a vote because 10% ain't nothing. Like when you go to the store and someone's like, "Hey, I'll give you 10% off of this for it's $20. I'll give you 10% off." Dude, that's $2. Are you serious right now?
Well, money is money, but I get what you're saying.
Take that
Yeah.
I
$2
get what
off.
you're saying. I'll take the $2 off. Don't give me.
Well, I'll take $2 off,
Yeah.
but you don't trust. When you take your $2, you're just like, all right,
Yeah,
I
you're
spent
not. You're
$2,
not.
but
You're
you're
not.
just like, eh.
You're not doing backflips about the offer. I understand what you're saying for sure. So let's go
Yeah.
ahead and throw this over to Stag, man. I know Stag, this is a little rough for you. It's not something that you really even gave a fuck about, but just
Still
in
don't.
general, you want me to Stag? Do you want to chime in here? It's up to you, brother.
I mean, woohoo, awards. I don't care. Like, I'm excited to hear about the games as always. I don't
Mhm.
care when I get game announcements, where I get
Mm-hmm.
game announcements. I like game announcements because that's more shit to play, more worlds to experience. I don't even care. Like, I can't I don't watch the VGAs, I don't watch the VMAs, I don't watch the fucking Oscars, I don't read People magazine, you know what I mean? Like, that ain't my thing. So
No, I feel you.
whatever, like the
Yeah.
whole thing you guys were rambling about, that is what it is. We all know about it. I mean, I bring me more games. That's cool. I think it's great that they're gonna show 10 possibly new games. I would hope for more new IPs, but that's just always my hope.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
tired of remakes and remasters and
Yeah. If
like,
you didn't
fuck
know
you. We've already
Stag,
given you
yeah.
money for this game,
If
and
you
it's
didn't
like
know
you just
Stag is
keep
not
doing it.
about the remasters or remakes.
I've
If you didn't
played
know.
some of them.
Not saying that you won't play
Halo,
them,
I will
but
play. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
that's my weak spot, and the
yeah,
same with Gears. But like, just every fucking game nowadays gets those, and I'm just like, can you just maybe stop fucking reaching into the cash cow and just doing the same thing over and over again? Like, same thing with movies, though. I mean, we just keep getting, yeah, it's a totally different tangent. Sorry, but
No, you good.
I
new
feel
games.
you.
I mean, I just hope they're new games.
Yeah,
Not just rehashes of the same
yeah,
shit. But granted, like any genre that we play in, any games, like nothing is mind breaking or not groundbreaking really with gameplay anymore. Once in a while we get a new mechanic, but everything's pretty much just a copy of something else with something else thrown into. Like, I mean, even like I talked about it last week, the Star Wars game. It's a great fucking game, but it's still
mhm,
just Tomb Raider and Prince of Persia,
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's
You
still a
got it.
great fucking game.
Yeah,
It's just like shooters. It's like it's either Halo, Call of Duty styles. I mean, you don't have you get third person, first person. It's shoot. You got objectives. Things don't really change a lot. So I
yeah,
just hope we get some new worlds and stuff on
yeah.
like storylines. That'd be cool. Different shit.
For
Don't give me
sure.
more of the same.
For sure, for sure. So one thing me and Stag are very alike about essentially is the way we look at information. If it's new information, I'm always excited about it. It may not move my needle, like super far, but anything new, I'm willing to hear about it. Like any new information, I want to see what the fuck's going
It's
on.
gonna
So
move the needle for somebody,
yeah,
and
for
that's cool.
somebody. You know
You
what
know
I'm
what I
saying?
mean?
So I'm just excited about anything new. Is my point essentially is that if it's new, I ain't heard about it. Let me hear about it so I'll digest it later on and I'll figure out whether it's important to me. But as long as it's new information, I'm always down for it. So I feel the same way about the VGA. Just to get my point off here, I think essentially going forward, like this is not something that I hold my hat on the VGAs. Not even matter of fact, I think it's the first year where I really haven't looked into the categories and who were actually like nominated. I haven't really even looked into it at all. Even last year I did. I was kind of into it, but even this year I haven't done that at all because I just feel like at the end of the day, new information is great. So I could really care less essentially going forward. I mean, the show's going to be good. New information is always great. So we'll see what comes out of it. We'll see what new games we get, whether it be Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. We'll definitely see. So let's go ahead and throw this over to Fuzz. Fuzz, man, what's going on with you, man? What do you think about it? I mean, once again, I'm not saying you're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
watch it, not saying you're gonna be tuned in, on the edge of your seat, but in general, the VGAs, man, how do you feel about them this year?
Uh, just looking forward to the game announcements. I'm hoping it's new stuff, like new, like world premiere, as opposed to hearing about Streets of Rage 4 again, which I'm looking forward to. I already heard about it over at XO, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping like kind of like what Centurion was saying. it's not just a rehash of things that we've seen at some other point during the year that just isn't released yet. I kind of want to find out more about what was it, Biomutant uh,
Yes, yeah.
Stag. That was the one you played at like
That's a PC,
E3.
Oh
right?
my
That's
god!
a
What?
PC
This
game.
I still want that.
Yeah.
I still want that too. I want to hear like a release date.
You
I'm
want
hoping
what?
Biomutant.
Oh,
Biomutant.
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 No, wait,
Okay,
it's on
that's what I
everything,
thought you were
right? Is
talking
it
about.
multiplayer or is it on PC?
It's
I think it's going to be on
It's on
on
everything,
all.
right?
It is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I have it pre-ordered on Xbox. It's
Yeah.
multi-platform.
Yeah, so I'm hoping things that we've been waiting for a while, like The Last Night. That's another one that I want to hear a release date. I'm hoping something like that. Like those are ones that if they've shown before, if they show them again with like a release date, I'm good. But if they just show things that we've seen before and we already kind of had an idea of when they're coming out, it'll be a little disappointing. But
Yeah.
uh, I'm just looking forward to the new game announcements. The awards. My personal opinion on it, it's not much different than the Oscars. It's like who you know, who pays who to. Well, anyway, that aside, the
Yeah.
game announcements are the main thing I'm looking for. The rest of it is just noise in the background.
Yeah, no, I feel you. It's tough, and I kind of want to elaborate on it, Fuzz, and kind of twist that question as far as the Game Awards go. Now, be it the fact that none of us are. I think I can now that we've all spoken. None of us are really invested in the VGAs. I think I'm comfortable in saying that none of
Yeah.
us are really going to be sitting there on the edge of our seat, taking notes essentially. So, be it the fact that this is the only real gaming awards event we have. Would you agree? Well, I won't say agree, but essentially, what do you think about just the way? So, without going into great detail, what do you think about the way the award show has gone as far as over the years? Because I think that it started out for me at least as being I was actually I'm still proud of the VGAs because it is our only award show that's actually universally recognized as far as being an actual quality show. But
Mhm.
what do you think about like just from this point forward? Because like Centurion said, the precedence it is setting as far as like Death Stranding being nominated that many times. You know what I'm saying? Like it does, it does
Yeah.
look a little suspect. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think about just the direction where it's going? Be it the fact that things are being the way they are this year, Death Stranding, that whole situation. Do you feel confident, in the VGAs going forward?
I think depending on the outcomes, I think they're going to have to take a hard look because if viewership is down across like YouTube and stuff like that, then they're going to know that the community has spoken. If viewership is up, then just it'll be more of the same later on. You'll have more uh, devs and I guess some of the board members having probably close conversations about their personal tastes and what they want to win. But I I honestly, even though it would still be lopsided as an Xbox fan, I would like it to be based solely on sales. Just
Mm-hmm.
make it on sales because that's ultimately what it makes it. I wouldn't say it makes it a great game, but the more it sells, usually the more people play. Usually there's a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Although then you would only have games like Grand Theft Auto and Fortnite winning, but at least from some standpoint, I think game sales should have a stronger say than, let's say, maybe the reviewers or maybe a fan vote. But then again,
Sure.
as long as they have it where you, I guess, have to register,
Okay,
log in, and
we're
can't do
literally
like
done.
bots
We're done.
logging
And
in
once
and making
Fuzz is
accounts to
done
vote.
talking,
I don't know.
he's
It
once he's done.
gaming awards are definitely a hard thing to kind of figure out, and I
Okay,
think
that's fine.
this game award show will make it even tougher as far as from a fans base and
Okay.
just going forward. I think
Okay.
they're going to have to. I wouldn't say do some soul searching, but I think they're
Thank you so much.
definitely going to have to look at things if this
As
doesn't
soon as
go
this
over
this
as
this
well
the
as they hope.
Fuzz is the last thing.
Can
Okay.
I add
Go
on
ahead.
to
Go ahead,
something?
Centurion. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to clear up. I don't want people to think I'm like bashing the VGAs. I'm wanting to say it's a noble idea. It needs to be around, but let's just put it this way: one person does not own the Academy Awards. One person does not own the Oscars. It's like a giant conglomerate of groups and investors that have come together to actually try to create an award ceremony.
I'm
But
gonna
with
be
the
in
video
there, man.
game awards, like there's like one person who's in control,
Oh,
of
so
the
they'll play with
all
him.
end all be
Okay.
all of the whole situation.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to like bash it at all. It should be a time where developers get praised for the work they do, the things they bring to gaming, the new ideas that get put out there, the new concepts.
That's from that brush. What's that brush
Kojima
at?
should be
I don't even know where my
congratulated for the
brush is at.
fact that he's trying to create a game that brings people
Oh,
together
I'm
and
lazy as
trying
shit.
to
Okay.
usher in a
I'll
new
get my brush.
concept into gaming. That's not to deny that. But honestly, when I listen to everybody talking, Invader, Fuzzy, Stagger, even you, PTK, even
Mhm.
myself, everybody's looking forward to essentially the commercials. Like seriously, like I know it's game trailers, but that's basically that's the commercials. Not one person is looking forward to the actual awards show. They're looking forward to what is going to be shown in between, basically during the commercial breaks.
Hmm.
That
I just
that
want to hear
that
the news.
says
I just want to hear
something.
the announcements at the end of the
It's
Well,
day.
like
I'm
it's
looking
like the
forward to
Super
Crash
Bowl when
Podcast.
neither of your teams are in it. So it's like,
Well, yeah, that's
yeah.
a good analogy, Fuzz. That's a good point.
I'm looking forward to the storm that's gonna happen during and especially after because again,
You're a drama queen,
like
Invader. That's what that is. Invader like the drama afterwards. I knew it. I knew
yeah, it's just
it.
I've never seen it like this before. This is really interesting.
Yeah, no,
You
you're
know
right.
what? I think Activision needs to hop in on this and be like, look, Call of Duty Modern Warfare is crossplay. I think at the end of the awards show, we should let people let some steam out. Have all these Xbox and
Yeah.
PlayStation users just throw down.
Yeah, I know, right? Tell me about it. But no, that is a great topic, guys. And with that one, we're actually gonna go ahead and wrap everything up, man. This was a fantastic show, man. High quality every single week, man. We do this every single week. We do the best we can to bring you guys an amazing show. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up today, man. You guys always show up and show out. But before we close this show, we're gonna go around the panel give everybody an opportunity here to let everybody know that's watching or listening, whatever the case may be, now or later when you click the link, and I'm going to send that out later. What's going on with them? You guys can go ahead and follow them as well. So we're going to start with our guest of the hour. Before you say anything, Invader, I want to say I appreciate you, brother, being on the show today. You're always welcome on the show. You know that. You've been on multiple times, and thank you for adding your knowledge and just being here on the show, taking a little bit of time today on Saturday, man. I had a ball. Hope you enjoyed the show, man. But let everybody know what's going on with you, brother.
Oh yeah, well, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure being on the Shop Podcast Blam. It was awesome talking with Fuzzy and Stagger, and of course Centurion, my buddy over at TXR. But yeah, great talk tonight, guys, and also great lively people on the chat. Always, same great people like Shansu, Indie Gamer, and the rest. Yeah, guys, you can follow me over at my gaming channel, Invader Gaming, on YouTube, and of course my Twitter handle, Invader_1986. And hey, check out the TXR podcast tomorrow evening. We have a very special guest, Ori and the Will of the Wisp game director, Thomas
Nice.
Mahler.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. That's on at 6 p.m. Eastern time. 3 Pacific. It's going to be very lively. We are so excited to have him on the show. And yeah, I hope to see you all there. And it's been a fantastic night talking with you.
Appreciate you, man. Once again, every single week. And do what he said. Go check out TXR, man. Everybody over there, I'm super cool with. Shout out to everybody that's on TXR, one of the OG podcasts as far as this YouTube Xbox community goes, man. Go check them out. Once again, appreciate you so much, Invader, taking a little bit of time out. Even though it was a little bit last minute, man, you still made time for me today and the podcast and the fans here watching live. So big shout out to you, man. Once again, Invader, you're welcome on the show anytime. You already know this. I feel like I'm pretty sure I told you that before, but either way, you're always welcome on the show, buddy, anytime. So you always add a cool vibe to the show, super knowledgeable. So guys, go follow him on Twitter as well if you have not. Please go follow him there. That's where I'm sure you can find out what's going on with him, TXR, and everything associated with him. So next, we're going to throw this over to Stag. Let us know what's going on with you, Stag. Let us know where everybody can find you, the stream schedule, everything like that.
I just want to, thank the panel for a great show tonight and chat. Thanks for showing up and keeping everything flowing. It was great. You can find me on Twitch, Monday through Friday, most days at 9:15 a.m. Streaming them indie titles, and you can always find me, starting fires and telling people to stop their bullshit on Twitter under
Twitter.
Stagorilla. I gotta, the fanboys,
I'm gonna
man. I
say
gotta, I
something,
gotta, I gotta
Stag.
put that stop
Stag,
sign up for them.
I've never seen you so active on Twitter. Within the last probably month or so, dude, you've been extremely active on
I just
Twitter.
keep posting the same GIF though. Like, and I do it to Xbox guys and I do it to Sony guys. Like, I don't. There's just you're gonna be dumb about shit. I'm gonna fucking point it out. That's where I'm at this point.
Got
So,
it. Got it. So
but yeah,
tread
catch the
tread
stream,
lightly in
catch us
the.
here. It's
Uh-huh.
great.
Yes, appreciate you once again, Stag. Every single week, man. Consistent. Go follow that man. Go watch him live stream. And one of the guys I always check up on. He's a part of the show. My brother from another mother, man. I super appreciate you, Stag. Shout out to you and the family as well. Your kids, your wife. Everything is good there. So, Centurion, man, let us know where everybody can find you. I know you got the content fucking cooking up, man. I need that. I need to inject that content directly into my veins, brother. So I need that consistently, man. But either way, let everybody know that's watching where they can find you, Centurion.
Well, I am actually back to cooking up great content on a regular basis as much as I can. My last video dealt with how game streaming is going to have an uphill battle going into the future if the internet companies don't change their ways. It's definitely a big topic for discussion when it comes to game streaming. But at any rate, you can always find me here with you guys on Saturday, tomorrow, and every Sunday. I get to do a podcast with the amazing Invader Gaming. I'm still humbled and honored that he would bring me into the fold and let me be part of that great show. I also do TSGP, Saltiest Gaming Podcast with
Shout out to
Saltiest Gamer
Salty,
on
man. He
Thursday.
was in there
Yes,
too. Yeah.
Salt. Yeah, he was in the chat earlier.
So
Another
every
great
week,
guy.
man. Shout out to Salt, man, my guy.
So, but as always, if any of you guys are looking for me, you can always find me on YouTube, Twitter, and Xbox Live at Centurion1307. I also have legionofgamer.com with great links to all the sites I write articles for, and also links to everybody here on this podcast and other great members of the community.
Appreciate you,
Nice.
man. Once again, every single week, Centurion, man, awesome guy. If you want to watch comprehensive videos with some factual information, subscribe to Centurion, man. Catch him there. Follow him on Twitter as well. That's where you'll be able to kind of keep up with what he's doing, the content, his schedule, everything like that. Make sure you check him out, man. He's a wonder kid, man. He's amazing, amazing, great content, man. I fully endorse him, man, for sure.
And I just want to also say something to Invader that I think we need to get Downer and Stagger together on a show.
That boy Jeremy, man. That boy JD, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. But shout out to
I think
Downer, man.
there would be some people straight
Oh,
up triggered
Lord
by
have
those
mercy.
two.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
think
we're
it would
not-
be like a Ghostbuster
Listen,
situation
so
where you got the
the
keymaster and
oh my goodness.
the gatekeeper
Oh
or
my
whatever.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
man.
Are we
The
ready
world
for
would
that
end.
invader? Are we ready for that invader? I don't know if we're ready for that invader. I don't know if the internet can handle that, man. I'm not sure.
It would be a meltdown of epic proportions in the chat.
Absolutely. Oh man, I don't want to stress Stag out. I really don't want to stress Stag out. No, I don't want to do that. But either way, but shout out to JD, man. That's my guy, man. My guy. Appreciate you. But Stag, once again, thank you for coming on, man. Every single week, man. Centurion, you're amazing. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Last but not least, man, Mr. Ross. Do you want to speak to the people? But anyway, yeah, Fuzz, let everybody know what's going on with you, what you got going on. I know you're doing the Instagram thing. Fuzz, if you guys don't know, Fuzz is heavy with the Forza. He's heavy in the Forza community. Follow him on Instagram. I'm sure he's going to give you guys more details about that.
Oh yeah, much appreciated. Excellent show again. Glad to have Invader on here, and always glad to be here with Stag and Centurion and Ublam. For anybody interested, you can catch me on Twitter at fuzzy_Belvedere. I usually post Forza pics or some Forza information. I'm also doing Instagram, Fuzzy Belvedere, all one word. I try to post a pic at least every day. Some of the screenshots, I'm still learning how to be a photographer for that, but also trying to post some tunes and some paint schemes I have. Not many, but just still starting out. But man, awesome show, awesome being here with you guys talking shop. Always fun.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. You add so much to the show, Fuzz, man. I tell you, man. I don't know what we would do without you, man. That smooth voice, man. I think it's like butter, man. But either way, man, appreciate you being on here every single week, man. Appreciate you, man, adding so much to the show. Supremely grateful, to your existence here on the Shop Podcast, man. So, last but not least, the host with the most, PTK Blam, across the board. Hit me on Xbox Live at PTK Blam, Twitter the same. Follow me on Twitter mostly because that's where you guys are going to figure out what's going on with the show. Any changes, if you guys want to let me know, any suggestions on how to improve the show, topics, questions, hit me in the DMs. Twitter is the place to be, so hit me up there. But once again, I appreciate you guys so much. Every single week, you show up, you show out. Next week, more fire, same time, same fucking place. So appreciate every single body coming out watching live. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe. Have a happy holidays. We'll be here next week, same time, same place. Peace out, everybody. Take it easy. We're out of here.